Hi, everyone, and welcome to Let's Talk Risk, where our goal is to connect, engage, and inspire each other as we build a global community of risk practitioners. I'm your host, Naveen Agarwal, and I'm super excited to see all of you. And very, very excited to welcome my guest, Michelle Wu of NyquistAI today. Today, we will talk about applications of AI in the regulatory space, where Michelle and his company has done a lot of work. So I'm really, really excited to hear more about that. And she will also share some of the use cases that they have applied AI to. With that, Michelle, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Hi, Dr. Naveen. Yeah, wonderful. This is such a gift of life. It's very sunny in California, in the heart of Silicon Valley, and we're having great conversations. I couldn't ask a better start of my day.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you are in the hub of innovation when it comes to high tech and also life sciences, Michelle. But before we dig into our topic today, can you introduce yourself to our audience very briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everyone. I see some new faces, new friends, and old friends. So first of all, I'm a big fan of Dr. Naveen. I've listened to a couple of his podcasts, and congratulations on hitting such a big milestone, Dr. Naveen.
Thank
And
you so much. Thank you so much.
yeah, so I'm Michelle Wu. I'm the CEO and co-founder of NyquistAI. We are like Google for life science. We have what we believe the largest global coverage of all the clinical, regulatory, and medical data around the world, from the US to Europe or to Japan and even China. So we have about 140 customers globally. And prior to NyquistAI, I built two other startups during my time at Stanford doing my MBA. One is social media app, which really taught me the passion of, innovate fast and fall fast. And also, I have built another life science software solution before building Nyquist. And prior to that, I was with Novartis. I was the youngest global strategy manager, and I did from preclinical strategy all the way to post-market surveillance strategy. And my claim to fame is I was involved in so far the only asset swap deal in the history of pharma. It's like a three-way merger and acquisition among Eli Lilly, GSK, and Novartis, where there's just so much data, so much complexity. So that was
Wonderful.
really a
Wonderful.
fun project. Yeah.
Great. So Michelle, you have such an amazing background in business. And I know you just returned from the JP Morgan Healthcare Conference. Share with us some of the key trends that you observed. What is happening in our industry today?
Yeah, the JP Morgan is fun and hectic and crazy as always this year. This is the only, I've been attending it for like 9 years. This is the first year we have sunshine, so we're very grateful. I noticed three very unique aspects from the life science and healthcare industry I want to share with you and all the audience. So first, the overall mentality from both the investors and also the industry leaders. There's about 549 CEOs of public company and a lot of pre-IPO companies. And overall, people's mentality is up. They think that we finally are out of the trench of, post-COVID adjustment, and we are finally on the upswing. So first is the mentality from both investor and the industry is very upbeat. And second is, of course, like AI is at the center stage. There's a lot about like 5 public company of AI digital health and AI tech enablement, machine learning companies in the show during the JP Morgan healthcare presentation. And almost all of them have like very cool technologies to share. That is, everyone agree we are just at the beginning of, we're just scratching the surface or just seeing the tip of the iceberg. And the third is when it comes to AI adoption, the CEOs are much more equipped with use cases, value proposition, and story. Like 400 years ago, Shakespeare asked like to be or not to be, that is a question. But when it comes to AI or not to AI is no longer a question.
Yes, yes.
For the CEOs and for the investors. And the people, actually a lot of the CEOs have very interesting use cases to share. So from, I think 2025 will be the year where it's like is for AI adoption. 2 years ago was AI breakout year where the ChatGPT just took the world by storm. But now we are seeing more application, a use case, ROIs are from real life.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And it's exciting time to be in healthcare and life sciences today. So, Michelle, we're going to talk about some of the use cases that you can share with us today in the regulatory space. As you know, a majority of our audience is from the quality regulatory engineering space, and they're very curious to hear probably more about these applications. And guys, before we go in there with this topic, I appreciate and I invite you to share your thoughts and comments. Any questions, ideas, insights that you have in your mind, please share very freely in the comment section, in the chat. And any question that you might have for Michelle, please bring that up and we will talk about it. So with that, Michelle, let's discuss any interesting use case that you want to share with us today that you have personally been a part of for regulatory application.
Yeah. Absolutely. As Dr. Naveen, I think you have the coolest job to talk with geniuses around the world, have geniuses in the audience around the world to listen to exciting stories and trends. And I also love my job because I got to listen to a lot of real life story from our users. So our users actually span across from individual consultant to the largest medical device and pharmaceutical companies around the world. So when it comes to one of our individual individual consultant, he used to be the VP of regulatory affairs for Medtronic, and after retire, he's like, okay, I still have my energy. I want to start my own practice. And so he was hired as expert witness to defend his client, just call it Company A. So Company A was sued by Company B for potential IP infringement, and Company B was hired a former FDA reviewer as their expert witness. So it was for our client, just give him name John. For John, it's a very stressful time. The client is being sued, and he need to get on trial like within a couple of days. He does not have a lot of time. He did not have a lot of time to prepare. So that's a great use case for AI to adjust large volume of data and find patterns. So we have two solutions. One is called Device Explorer, where we can combine the different indication for use or intended use of device and rank them in terms of similarities and scores. And then as we see, like a Company A from our algorithm, it shows that like a Company A's indication for use has very little overlap with Company B. So that's evidence number one. And evidence number two, we have what we call predicate navigator, which shows all the predicates, all the prior arts of and reference device, secondary predicate, primary predicate, and all the good stuff on a map. Is almost like a family tree, or like 23andMe for medical device. Nice. So our client was able to use this family tree to trace back generation after generation after generation and show there's no linkage between those two group of products. And so like he used NyquistAI on the in the courtroom, and the judge was very impressed.
So, Michelle, I think that a lot of people are going to be excited about it because we have so many independent consultants who serve as expert witnesses.
Yeah.
Question I have for you, though, and I think they might have the same question, is can we really trust this information? Can we really trust AI to stand up in a courtroom and, not be afraid of telling a lie or misrepresenting facts? How can we trust AI? Can you say a little bit more about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And it's the trusting AI is even for us is a working in progress product, because the bar of the industry keeps rising. There's new technology, new information coming out every day. And what we, in our particular case, what has been extremely helpful is that we always trace back the data to the original source. And a lot of people may not even realize, because maybe because of the low budget of FDA, maybe because their IT system is so old, they will miss certain track record and certain data. We always keep the original documents, the original PDF, so that when our user John went into court, he can very quickly point to the original document that is already submitted in the government system. So that has really helped to improve the traceability, interpretability, and trustworthiness of his testament.
Yeah, I can totally see that. And Michelle, in this particular use case, I can think of people applying it not just for expert witness work, but also in new product development, right? You might do some research to see the connections, the linkages, and maybe figure out where you might carve out a very unique IP for yourself or define an intended use statement. I can see so many applications. I'm on the right track with that.
Yeah, yes, absolutely, Dr. Naveen, you're a genius. So, besides the product development is definitely another use case with the similar data with predicate navigator and the similar device explorer. And also when you do M&A, you also want to see like, okay, if we acquire certain assets, what's the true value? Are there similar product out there, similar IP out there? And are we like infringing any of our competitors or peers' IP?
hmm Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, Michelle, let's talk about another example that you have seen in the quality regulatory space or even engineering space for MedTech.
Yeah, absolutely. And in terms of we again we have so many customers and so many use case from engineering to commercialization. So another use case I can think of is for the mid-sized companies to how to help company save money and when the FDA approvals. For example, like one of our clients, just call her Mary. Mary is the VP of market, like a company with a market cap about $1 billion. And we all know for MedTech industries, when you reach mid-market, as you experience a lot of growth pains for either for regulatory or for quality or risk professionals and leaders, because you have your leadership team, your board investor will give you this big, hairy, audacious goal that you want to hit. Like you need to bridge the growth from mid market to like the medical giants. At the same time, the budget, the people, and your team is still kept at a very small size.
Right.
So it's almost like a death valley. Then how can our professionals bridge this gap? I think AI could be a really good solution to help them, optimize their resources, save time, save cost, save the cognitive load, will lift up the team to the next growth destination.
Yeah, it
So
seems to me that also our world is changing so fast, right? Technology is moving fast and we get so many new regulations, so many new guidance documents, and it's physically not possible for one or two people to manually read all that stuff, understand that stuff, and try to apply it, right? Is there a way AI can help us there?
Yes, definitely. I have so much sympathy and admiration for regulatory intelligence professionals who like literally read
Mhm.
all the documents day in, day out. Some of them can even recite. So we have a solution called Guidance IQ. It is complimentary. And so what it includes is you all the draft and finalize the guidance of from the FDA and Europe. So, for example, some simple questions. We have a client who is a VP of clinical trials, and he's like, okay, I want to do a clinical trial in Europe. Do I have to host my trial master file in Europe, or as a US company, I can hold it in the US?
Mhm.
Sounds a very simple story, a simple question, right? Those type of question will pop up in our day-to-day work at least 5 or 10 times. But if he want to get the answer, he has to ping his VP of regulatory affair, and his VP of regulatory affair is probably already overtasked with day-to-day routine work.
Mhm.
And what we find is like regulatory risk and quality people, they are not just one function people. They
Mhm.
are constantly interacting with, like you said, engineering, marketing, product, commercial.
Mhm.
There's a lot of cross-function communications. So instead of bothering the VP of regulatory, our client can very quickly type the question in our guidance IQ and find the result. Not only the summarized result and insight. Naveen, to your question, like trusting AI,
Mhm.
we also highlight the specific page and specific paragraph where the guidance is, so that he can always reference to the original source.
Wonderful. I can see that it can cut down the time for research. And in this conversation, all of us can become superstars by asking these questions, getting answers, and then communicating that effectively to our senior management for business decisions and not wasting their time in just discussions and reviews. But actually, we can be seen as really helping to make those business decisions that these leaders are supposed to make under a lot of pressure, right?
Yes. We are in a very fascinating industry where time is really premium.
Mhm.
Like how to translate decades of data in those PDFs, is, sleeping in all the FDA's databases around the world is really the key. And how to like accelerate innovation from the lab to really saving patients. Time is really critical.
Got it. So, guys, I hope you're enjoying this conversation. We still have a fair amount of time left. So, I want to invite you to share your thoughts, questions, comments, any insights you have. Maybe a challenge for Michelle and ask her if you have a regulatory problem that potentially could be solved by AI, and maybe she already might have a solution or she might think about that. So, here's a great opportunity for us to engage with each other and learn a little bit more. So, Michelle, let's continue our conversation. And I want to switch gears a little bit and talk about really what something that keeps coming up, and I think it's an elephant in the room. Really, it's an elephant in the room because uh, when change happens, people are nervous and concerned, and AI is such a big change, and everybody's saying, "Hey, what's going to happen to my job? Is it going to take away my job?" So, can you address that a little bit? What happens in the new world with AI? Is it going to replace all of us, or can it be a tool for us? How to best use this?
Yeah, that's a billion-dollar question, really, Dr. Naveen, because the question I constantly get from our user is like, okay, in the era of AI, what is my role as a regulatory affair professional or quality or risk management professional? And
Mhm.
second, how could I use AI into my day-to-day work? And
Mhm.
three is how can I communicate AI to my peers, to my boss, and
Mhm.
to my teammates? So that's we definitely need to, I think the training and also the day-to-day practice of our function will change drastically. We will probably need a lot of multilingual people who can not only speak regulatory language, but also can speak AI language, like communicate the AI use case and AI stories to their leaders and to be the champions for change. What we see in the challenge though is right now AI is very, very still very, very hot.
Yeah.
And there's almost like a AI overload, and companies are bombarded by so many AI solutions on the market, and they don't know what to trust. And second, what you describe, the risk is actually true. We saw some solutions that hallucinate or make up like a random answers that it cannot be trusted, which could lead to very serious consequences. And we also see that there's like say conflict of emotions or lack of empathy or compassion during the change management, where either the leadership's like, okay, full on AI, while the mid management or communication is missing, where the team is left in the dark, like, okay, now what do we do? What is approved? What is allowed? What is not allowed? So what we have done is we have build a change management framework, and we provide dedicated office hours that is not only provide technology inside, but also build out the like emotional muscle to build the confidence for the users. So like, okay, I can be friends with AI. AI will make me a superhuman or super consultant instead of a consultant just like rely on manual work, like you said.
Yeah. So it seems to me that it's not a question of AI taking our jobs, but it's a question of we had to treat this as a new tool that and improve our skills. And I was having this conversation with a VP of quality and regulatory in a very large organization, and they told me it's not that you will lose your job to AI. You'll actually lose your job to someone else who can use AI better than you can. Right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
you wouldn't call, I mean, I think it's we have to kind of take ownership of that. So I love this conversation. Michelle, we have a question here from the audience. And the question is, to what extent can AI be relied upon in the development of a novel product, particularly during the IDE stage or clinical phase?
Oh, this is a very complex question. Good question, Rama. So from I will start small from the data gathering and like a design process. We do have a solution called NyquistAI AI clinical trial module that has all the global clinical trials and the IDE some documents related to IDE, clinical trial protocol, clinical trial design that has been published. You can very quickly synthesize all like the prior knowledge to fill your design in a unique product. And then like in the documentation process, we also have like a documentation writing tool that can help you generate the state of art. For example, when you write the submissions or certain parts, you want to compare your novel therapy or novel product with what is has been available on the market in the US, in Europe, in Japan, in the rest of the world. And then our AI can very quickly help you to compare the comparison. The holy grail, I've heard so many from so many our users and people who are AI passionate, who are passionate about AI, like Dr. Naveen, like, oh, will there be would there be a magic button that if I just press this button and AI will write my whole 510K submission, my whole clinical trial protocol, my whole a gap analysis and risk analysis. And so far it is really challenging. And I can tell you the reason why, because we don't have the data that is available to build the base case. AI have to start. You have to feed AI with an idea. AI is generative is not creative.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a very good point. So, guys, all of us will have a role to play. It's not like we can just push a button. And maybe in the future, 50, 100 years from now, that's possible. But still, we'll the one deciding whether it's right or wrong, whether we should act on it or not. So, Michelle, we have a question here from Phil, and he's asking, can you elaborate on privacy concerns with AI, especially in the case of protecting instances of IPs?
Oh, that's a very great question, and especially in our industry, without IP protections, we won't have an industry. So I can speak from a very practitioner's perspective. If you are looking for AI solutions, and look very closely with their data privacy and data security process, we follow the leading industry standard, and to the degree we are very drastic, because I come from the industry. I'm a user myself. So we create, for each individual users, we create individual incidents. So all the data is masked. We don't touch user data. We don't have access to user data, and we don't even store user data. So it's we are like on the extreme end. But I've seen some, not in life science, I've seen a lot of AI companies. Like, for example, there's recently a new AI tool that without, you can build any AI project, an app or a website, just by writing a bunch of codes, but they don't protect the user IP. So what's the name of the game, or like the game they're playing is like, they literally gave a tool to users to fish out the best idea. And if their user build a great solution, then they will copy that solution. It's kind of like open source GitHub, but used by one person.
So, well,
So
this is you're giving us a clue here, Michelle. Like, if we are thinking about, talking to different vendors for AI applications, that's a question we should be asking too, right? How do we detect our IP? Great, Michelle. I know we are running short on time, but Michael has a question here. He's saying there was a mention of trusting AI earlier. How can one quantify and manage risk of AI errors or hallucinations, especially when large data sets are being analyzed? Is there a way to quantify?
I don't have the answer off the top of my head if we can quantify and measure the risk errors of hallucination. But in terms of we actually went through this process ourselves. So there is a couple of things we have done. We have a tool called, like I mentioned, the Guidance IQ. It's really like a chatbot for FDA and EU guidance. What we have done is, first, to clean all those data. The data quality is the key. And second, in terms of product design, instead of making it a conversational tool like ChatGPT, we make it as a Q&A tool. Each question and each answer is dedicated. So with one question, we give one answer. We don't extend the logic line. In this way, we can eliminate the chance of hallucination.
Gotcha.
And
yes, you limit the kind of exploration space for AI. Great.
Yes.
So, guys, we have run out of time, but I would love to hear from you. So, in the remaining time that we have, please share in the chat any feedback you have. How do you like this type of a conversation? Do you have any questions or comments as a follow-up discussion with Michelle? And I'm going to give Michelle a couple of minutes now to kind of process her thoughts so she can share some key takeaways with us. And in the meantime, I'm going to share a couple of announcements with you. So, guys, the first announcement here is that I'm launching a live ISO 14971 training early to mid-February. The pre-registration is open now. Space is limited. This is a live training, so it's not a video course or on-demand course. You will have full engagement with me, and we will also build a risk management file from scratch as a hands-on activity. So if you're interested in that, please reach out to me. The second announcement is you would be surprised to hear that our Let's Talk Risk community is now over 3,000 people strong, and it's growing. I invite you to join us if you haven't done so already. And you can find out more information on my Let's Talk Risk Substack. If you're interested, please reach out to me again and I will provide you that information. But we would love to have you as part of our growing community so we can engage and inspire each other and learn from each other. So with that, Michelle, the floor is yours. If you could please share some 2 or 3 key takeaways for us.
Yeah, definitely 3 takeaways. And the first one is like we discussed, AI is an enabler, is not a replacement. AI will not take away our jobs, but someone who knows how to leverage AI to be super productive and super strategic is going to take away our jobs. And second, AI will challenge and shake up our traditional way of work in a very good way. And this is our 4th year doing AI adoptions, and we have some revisit with customers. What we find that is if a customer want to insert AI into their existing workflow, it's very hard to achieve success. The reason why is a new tool and their workflow is designed with maybe Excel, maybe with PowerPoint. That is very hard for automation. So the best way to adopt the AI is take a step back, look at the existing workflow. What are the challenges where you sunk in the most of the time and where AI can help, and revamp it's almost like a process engineering, since we have so many engineers on the call, and it's almost like a process and change management engineering to really achieve AI adoption. And 3 is like just start an experiment, try things with moderation, check out their policy, check out their privacy policy, data security policy, how they store your data, how they use their data. If it is safe, just have a little bit fun with different AI solutions. Over time, all the audience on our call will build out their AI muscle to be the superhuman or
super users.
consultant. Yeah.
Super user. Awesome. Michelle, thank you so much for your time. And guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Please reach out to Michelle if you want to learn more about these applications. I will share her contact information as well in the show notes for this recording when this will be available soon. But you can connect with her on LinkedIn and connect with each other on LinkedIn, because we are trying to create a community of practitioners. We want to learn from each other. So feel free to make these connections and also share your best so that we can all benefit from each other. Thank you so much again for joining today, Michelle. I can't thank you enough for being so generous with your time and sharing all this wonderful, exciting. I'm pumped up. I'm really energized about this. I think it's a new world. Yes, challenges are there, but there's also a good opportunity. So thank you again for sharing this with us.
Thank you, Dr. Naveen. This is wonderful. Thank you, everyone.
Great. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.